Yo, what's up? Today we have a kind of a different kind of thing. Like, I'll just say what happened. I was on, what is it called? Pokemon Showdown, I think it is. I still don't know the name of this thing. But I was on it and had accidentally clicked this CAP something. It was pretty much a testing for a new, a new made-up Pokemon, whatever, called Aruma. I'm not using it, but I got into a battle with it, and it was mainly, I guess this thing was going to be an OU. So, I accidentally battled this, and I say, hey, my team can do good in OU. So what I did is I took my NU team and challenged an OU team, and this is how it turned out. So looking at this team, I knew that my artillery could take the Pinsir, the Genesect, and the Swampert. I didn't quite know about the Salamence. I didn't quite know about the Tornadus because I didn't know if it was a Tornadus or a Thundurus, because I don't play Black and White 2, #hipster. And I did not know about this Gengar, mainly because I didn't see it. I didn't see it as a threat, because when I think of Uber, the only thing that comes to my mind when I think about Uber as far as battling was the Salamence, the Genesect, and the Tornadus. And the other three were just there, except maybe Pinsir, because it's massive attack. But yeah, I did not think about the Gengar at all. I had no plan for this Gengar. I was just gonna... I actually didn't even know it was there until he sent it out. And I was like, oh, this guy has a Gengar. But yeah, my plan was just to get artillery in and to do work. So I lead with my Cinccino against his Genesect. This is like a standard OU team, Salamence. It's pretty much standard. So I go for the Rock Blast because I know these things, if they get the plus attack raise, they U-turn. If they actually all I've ever seen them do. And so he U-turns out and he goes out to his what does he go out to? His Gengar. And his Gengar, I think, hey, I have a solution for this. So I go out to my Musharna, my Scarf Musharna. Oh, by the way, I have like info at the bottom now. Let me know what you think of that. But yeah, so he goes for Thunderbolt, and I take that pretty well. I'm Scarf, so I'm thinking I can outspeed, but I don't. So my Musharna dies to a Shadow Ball, like promptly. So I send out my Electros, and my Electros is good coverage, but I mainly send it out when I want to confuse something. So he brings out his Swampert, or he switches out to a Swampert. I go for the Dragon Tail just to phase, you know, just get stuff out of the way. I don't want him to be able to like set up a plan on me or anything like that. So he is a plus attack. He goes for the U-turn, and because that was predicted, because he got the attack boost, he's going to U-turn. That's just how Genesect works. He goes out to his Gengar again. With his Gengar, I go for Flamethrower because I was expecting the Genesect, and it crits and it kills. The crit mattered, but in the long run, I don't know if it would have mattered in the long run, but later on he does get a crit that matters, and so yeah, we're even. And so he brings out the Salamence and he intimidates me, and there goes my attack, and my Electros faints, and he's using Outrage. So by this I'm guessing he's Choice Banded, and I don't have anything that can take a Choice Banded Outrage, so I just sub, and then he breaks my sub with Outrage because it's that strong and Ninjask is that frail. And so I sub again. I get leftovers, I get speed boost, and I sub because I'm just gonna wait this out until his Outrage goes over, until his Outrage goes away. And since he's banded, that's all I can do, hoping for the 2-turn Outrage, and he gets the 2-turn Outrage, which is good. So now I'm at +2 speed, and he's confused. So I'm thinking there's no way he's gonna to stay in. So I baton pass out to my Cinccino. No, I baton pass, yeah, out to my Cinccino, thinking he's gonna switch, and this is the best thing to take anything because of its moves. But no, he goes for the Outrage. Doesn't hurt himself in confusion. I'm like, wow, I just pretty much killed something for no reason. So I go back out to my Ninjask for the same strategy, just sub until he ends his rampage. So he hurts himself in confusion, which is good, and I get held back. So now I'm behind a sub, and I have +1 speed. So now I have a free turn. He switches out because I guess he doesn't trust the Outrage. I don't know. He switches out. I go for the Roost, get some HP back, and as you can see, my Ninjask has no attacking moves. This is just merely support. But yeah, it works well with my team. So I go for the Protect just to see what his Tornadus wants to do. And he goes for a Brick Break. To this day, I had this battle yesterday, but still, to this day, I don't understand why he went for Brick Break, as I have no normal type. The only other thing is my Garbodor, which resisted, and this Ninjask resisted times 4, so it wasn't even going to break this up. But anyway, I Baton Pass, and I go out to my Artillery, because, yeah, I just go out to my Artillery. It's behind the sub, it has Bullet Seed. You already know what's going to happen. So he goes out to his Swampert, so I go for the Bullet Seed. It hits 3 times. I'm like, please, just give me one more. Just give me one more. No, it doesn't get the one more. So he goes for the Scald. My sub doesn't even break, which is terrible because Ninjask guard is extremely frail. But it was resisted, so I can see why it didn't break. He goes for the Protect, probably just to see what I'm gonna do. Maybe see if I'm scarfed or something. I don't know. I go for the Surf because I was expecting him to switch into his Thunderous Therian or Tornadus Therian. I just wanted to have some damage off if that is what happened. So he goes out to his Salamence. With my Artillery, I go for a Flamethrower just to get off some damage on something that comes in. I was hoping for the Genesect for the U-turn, but he goes for the Outrage. So I'm like, yeah, we already know how this goes. I go for the Charge Beam, get that plus special attack raise, but it doesn't even matter because I'm not staying in on a Choice Band and Outrage from his Salamence. And I switch. I go out to my Garbodor, and this was a crit I was talking about. He goes for the Outrage and crits me, and that mattered because I was going to set up Toxic Spikes or Clear Smog or something. I don't know what I was going to do, but it was going to be important. I was going to set up Spikes, and normally that Outrage would 2-hit KO me, but instead he crits, so it's 1-hit KO. And so now I'm left with a Ninjask and an Artillery versus 5. So I'm down 2-5. So I go for the Substitute, and he goes to the Outrage. So right now I'm thinking the only way I can take this thing out, the best thing for me to do is just wait it out till it hurts itself in confusion. So I go for the Sub. He goes for the Outrage. He hits. I'm like, okay. I go for the Sub. He goes for the Outrage. He hits. I'm like, okay. It's coming soon. It has to be coming soon, right? Right? You would think so. So I go for the Sub. I'm just waiting for him to hurt himself in confusion. He goes to the Outrage. He hits again. So I'm like, wow, this. Right now I'm speechless. I'm like, really? You're at 7%. Just hit yourself. So I go for another Sub. I'm pretty much killing my Ninjask because I can't do anything to the Salamence, and he finally hurts himself in confusion. So now my Ninjask is at plus 3 speed. Yeah, my Ninjask is at plus 3 times speed. I think that's plus 4 speed. And so I Baton Pass out to my Artillery. Now had it been any other Pokemon, this could have went differently. So I go out to my Artillery at 3 times speed, and now that I think about it, that him not hitting himself was good because I was getting speed boost to make sure my Artillery can outspeed stuff. So now Pinsir takes a Flamethrower from an Artillery, it dies, so there goes that Pinsir. So now he sends out his Tornadus Therian, and I'm out here naked, no sub, nothing. I go for the Charge Beam, hoping to kill. It doesn't. It does 50%. I get the special attack rate, so I'm like, okay, this is good. And then he crunches me. I'm like, oh my god, there's no way I'm gonna live this. I live it. And so now I'm like, this Charge Beam has to hit. If it misses, I'm done. It hits, which is good. I get the special attack raise, which I don't even need. And so I'm like, yes, okay. You have no idea how excited I was at this moment. I'm like, I could really beat this OU team with my NU team. So he brings out his Genesect, probably gonna U-turn. I say no to that, shut it down real quick, hit him with a Flamethrower, and so now the only thing that is left is his Swampert. He already knows I run Bullet Seed, so he goes for Protect. I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he's trying to buy time. I don't know. But he goes for Protect. He senses his loss, and he goes for the Protect. But then following turn, I go for the Bullet Seed, and yeah, my NU team just beat an OU team. You have no idea how happy that made me as an NU player and as a Pokemon battler. It was just awesome. So yeah, that was that. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, comment. Tell me what you think about that, and tell me what your favorite tier is, and if you could take any team, like any team from any tier, and face it with one from another, what team would you pick from which tier? And yeah, deuces.